Hello. As we approach the end of 2013, we'd like to offer our customers and friends just a few words of summary of the year that was and a few words of advice for 2014. 2013, first of all, will go down in the history books as the year when Ireland became the first country to exit the current bailout programme successfully and to re-establish our own financial sovereignty. That said, we believe we're on a very fragile foundation with very high unemployment in the order of 400,000 people. The percentage of people under 25 unemployed remains very high, and we still have immigration as being an issue to contend with. But having said that, we can't take away from the fact that we have successfully exited the bailout programme, and that can only be seen in positive light, as evidenced by international markets having responded quite well in the last few weeks. We've seen Irish property show signs of recovery, particularly so commercial property in Dublin, and we feel that by the time figures get released for 2013, we will more than likely see that a very substantial amount of commercial transactions in Dublin were financed overseas. And again, that is also a sign of a vote of confidence in overseas investors, pension funds, property syndicates, and so on, in the what would appear to be the start of a real recovery in the Irish economic environment. In general, we feel that 2013 will go down as another good year for global equity markets. We will probably see high single digit, if not low double digit growth, albeit not without a degree of volatility, driven by various issues like, for example, the debt ceiling in the United States being one, obviously the tension in Syria and so on, lending itself to dampen to an extent the global recovery, but that's no harm because it tends to bring a bit of sense and sensibility into what could otherwise be an even stronger recovery without having the foundation to actually back it up. We've also seen gold falling in the last 2 years, and obviously those people who have invested in gold are disappointed, but it's important that people understand from that movement in gold indices in the last 2 years that, like everything else in terms of all investment asset classes, it's all cyclical. And we've been saying to many of our investment clients in the last 4 or 5 years that while gold was doing very well in 2008, 9 and 10, it is cyclical, it won't last, and it will at some point come back. And gold prices have indeed fallen in the last 18 months or so, and we don't see any reason why gold will recover in the short run at least. That being said, we still advocate people having gold as part of their investment portfolio, but once you're aware that it is also an investment asset class and does carry with it the risk of falling values in good times, in the same way that it tends to act as a hedge for difficult markets. In terms of 2014, we would actually urge a word of caution to people investing. We believe that, knowing that everything is cyclical, we believe that certainly on equity markets we are much closer to the top of that curve than we are to the bottom. Once you know everything is cyclical, it means that what goes up must come down, and it will be our view that we are more than likely closer to the cusp than we are to the trough. And therefore, if you are about to invest in markets in 2014, we would urge a word of caution, to diversify, to be fully aware of the risk, and to be aware of the fact that you are probably investing much closer to the cusp of the current investment cycle, bearing in mind that we are currently witnessing the 5th longest bull market in history. In other words, the 5th longest positive growth period in global equity markets. We know that everything is cyclical. That cycle has to correct itself at some point. While we cannot time the markets, and nobody can truthfully say that they can, but we would be of the view that because we're closer to the peak of the market than we are to the trough, if you invest now, you need to be aware that you are closer to that peak, and therefore you're closer to the correction, and therefore you're more exposed to the possibility of seeing some sort of a relatively negative impact on your funds at some point in 2014 or 15. Equally so, if you have invested in the last number of years, you've done very well, and we would encourage you to consider consolidating some of those profits into less risk exposed options than equity markets, and perhaps securing some of those profits and diversifying into other asset classes. Having said that, keeping your money in cash is not an investment strategy. If you get, for example, 2.5% deposit interest for a year, take away your 41% dirt tax, your net growth in your deposit account is somewhere in the order of 1.3, 1.4%. If inflation runs at 2%, you're actually losing money. So keeping money in cash is not a strategy. Equally so, investing money blindly or investing money and then not reviewing it, that is also not a strategy. And therefore, whether you have already invested, have done well, and want to consider your options now, or whether you are considering investing in 2014 and want to hedge your risk, the most important thing of all is A, to engage in a fee-based advisor, not a commission-based sales office, and B, to be fully aware and fully informed of the risks that you are taking on. So our advice to you for 2014 is we believe we will see some sort of a relative stabilisation coming to bear in global equity markets, perhaps even a correction, when we don't know. And therefore, if you have made money on the invested markets, consider securing some of that profit. If you are considering investing money, we say invest in a relatively cautious manner. Engage in a fee-based advisor. Do not engage in somebody who's only interested in making a commission-based sale. And needless to say, as you know, in dealing with your advisors here in Talk Financial, we are first and foremost independent, fee-based financial advisors. We give advice, we are not driven by making a sale, and therefore we would encourage you to review your financial planning with Talk Financial during the new year 2014. Contact us anytime on talkfinancial.ie or 091 777 121. But for now, it just leaves me to wish you all a very happy Christmas, to thank you for your continued support in 2013. We look forward to seeing you in 2014, and we wish you a lot of happiness and success in the new year ahead. Thank you for now, and bye-bye.